Hello viewers, welcome back to my channel The Literary Thursday. Today the video that I am going to post is on John Keats. Let us have a quick discussion on this great poet. John Keats, who is regarded as one of the greatest romantic poets ever, had a very short span of life. He was born on 31st October 1795 in Moorgate, London, and died at a very tender age of 25 on 23rd February in 1821 in Rome. The cause of his death is tuberculosis, which at that time was regarded as an incurable disease. In fact, John Keats is the youngest of the 5 great romantic poets that we come across in the archive of English literature, and he was the earliest to leave this world. But even in his short span, he made remarkable achievement through his poetic creations, which is why his name is mentioned with great reverence along with Percy Bysshe Shelley and Lord Byron. Some of his notable works are Hyperion, La Belle Dame sans Merci, Lamia, On First Looking into Chapman's Homer, and so on and so forth. But his greatest achievement surely is going to be his sequence of 5 lyrical odes, which made him as famous as William Shakespeare. And the names of these odes are Ode on a Grecian Urn, Ode on Indolence, Ode on Melancholy, Ode to a Nightingale, Ode to Psyche, and to Autumn. It was even more astonishing to see that he published all those odes in the year 1819, probably knowing that his days were numbered. Keats was one of the most important figures of early 19th century Romanticism, a movement that espoused the sanctity of emotion and imagination and privileged the beauty of the natural world. Many of the ideas and themes evident in Keats' great odes are quintessentially romantic concerns. The beauty of nature, the relation between imagination and creativity, the response of the passions to beauty and suffering, and the transience of human life in time. The sumptuous sensory language in which the odes are written, their idealistic concern for beauty and truth, and their expressive agony in the face of death are all romantic preoccupations, though at the same time they are all uniquely Keats. Ode is a typical form of lyric poem. It is an impassioned address to a person, dead or alive. It might even glorify or praise an event, drawing on both intellectual as well as emotional descriptions. Exalted presentation is one of the key features of ode. The origin of this form of poetry can be traced back to the classical world. In fact, Greek odes were performed with musical instruments such as lyre. So, it is understandable that ode carries with itself a musical quality. In fact, a classical well-structured ode constitutes 3 major parts. Strophe, which is a musical movement from right to left. Antistrophe, it is just the reverse, and it is the second part. And epode, the third part, where the musicians stand at the center. So this particular formation of ode, as is witnessed in classical poetic tradition, adds to the dramatic quality of this beautiful form of poetry. Three typical forms of odes known to the world are Pindaric odes, named after Pindar, Horatian odes, named after Horace, and there is a third form of ode which is called the irregular odes, which is neither Pindaric nor Horatian. In the canon of English literature, the earliest examples of odes are Epithalamion and Prothalamion, written by Edmund Spenser. Romantic age abounds in odes. Plenty of odes were written during the time of Romantic movement. Some of the key examples of ode are Wordsworth's Ode on the Intimations of Immortality, P.B. Shelley's Ode to the West Wind, and of course Keats's great lyrical odes. Ode on a Grecian Urn was composed in May 1819. In Annals of the Fine Arts for 1819, anonymously, along with another great ode of Keats, Ode to a Nightingale. Keats's first-hand acquaintance with the Elgin marbles, Townley, Borges, and Holland House verses, and his knowledge of Robert Burton's treatment of such subjects in his The Anatomy of Melancholy acted as source of inspiration for this great ode. As far as the structure of this beautiful ode is concerned, Keats here uses a unique poetic technique which is known as ekphrasis. Ekphrastic poetry is that kind of poetry which represents a painting or sculpture etched in a marble or in any form of art in words. Ode on a Grecian Urn consists of 50 lines divided into 5 stanzas of 10 lines each. The rhyme scheme of this poem keeps a generally consistent shape throughout. Each stanza can be divided into 2 parts in terms of its rhymes. They all begin with A B in the first 4 lines, though the next 6 lines vary as far as the rhyme scheme is concerned. As for the first and fifth stanzas, the next 6 lines constitute the rhyme scheme CDE DCE. Second stanza constitutes the rhyme scheme CDE CED, and third and fourth stanzas constitute the rhyme scheme CDE CDE. What type of poem is it? Of course, it is an ode. But what sort of ode is it? It is a narrative form of ode where a story is told. Narrative form of poetry is that kind of poetry where a story will be narrated or told to the readers. But along with this storytelling method, the poem is loaded with a series of rhetorical questions as well, and this makes it even more appealing to the readers. Now let us discuss the poem in details. Coming to the first stanza of the poem. In the first stanza, Keats questions the Grecian urn directly. The Grecian urn here is personified as a bride of quietness and as a child adopted by slow and silently moving time. It has not been spoiled by the ravages of time. The urn has beautiful pictures carved on its surface. It has remained speechless through the ages, only using its pictures to express its meaning and message. The pictures on the surface of the urn depict pastoral tales of Greece in a better way than is ever possible in poetry. The scenes depicted on the urn are decorated with ornamental leafwork borders. Are the figures humans or gods, or both, belonging to the valleys of Tempe or Arcadia, places associated with ancient Greek pastoral poetry? On another side of the urn, the poet sees various figures of men and women. These are the figures of shy and unwilling maidens being madly pursued by their young lovers and trying hard to escape from their impatient embraces. The poet wonders, what is this wild amorous pursuit of reluctant maidens resembling a bacchanalian revel? In the second stanza, the speaker comes across a picture in the urn that is far superior to reality. This time around, he sees a young man playing a pipe. Although he cannot hear or listen to the tune being played through the pipe, yet he can easily understand that this unheard tune is far more melodious and sweeter than the mortal melodies, because this tune will never be affected by time. Hence, he tells the youth to continue playing with the tune produced through the pipe in order to impress the lover, who too will never lose her beauty because she is etched in the marble laden urn, hence timeless. He also sees a youth who is striving to kiss his lover but cannot, because both are frozen in time. But he tells him not to grieve because her beauty will never fade and her chasing will never cease to exist. In the third stanza, the speaker looks at the trees surrounding the lovers and feels happy that they will never shed their leaves. They will continue to maintain their springtime freshness forever because they are the works of marble, timeless, pure, and eternal. He is also happy for the piper because his songs will be forever new, and happy that the love of the boy and the girl will last forever, unlike mortal love, which lapses into breathing human passion and eventually vanishes, leaving behind only a burning forehead and a parching tongue. So, what he basically says is that as the lover in the urn will never gather the experience of love's satiety or fulfillment, he will be spared the after effect of physical exhaustion, which happens in case of mortal love. In the fourth stanza, a different scene arouses the speaker's curiosity. A scene of ritual sacrifice at which a garlanded heifer is to be sacrificed at an altar. The priest is followed by a crowd of people who are also going to an altar in the green wood to see the sacrificial ceremony. The poet wonders who those people might be and to which green altar they might be going. The town by the side of a river or seashore or mountain valley from which the processionists have come will ever be empty. In the final stanza, the speaker makes a final survey of the silent urn. The silent urn, which is a relic of Greek art and is overwrought with the figures of men and women, trees and trampled grass, awakens in us a realization that it is eternal. Yes, the silent urn is a symbol of immortality as opposed to reality. Keats realizes that this generation will die one day and it will be replaced by another, but one thing will be common to reality, that is, sorrows, tensions, miseries, woes, and all those negative aspects will continue to grip the mortal existence and deprive it of its color of majesty. But the only consolation that the urn offers to the poet or the speaker is that beauty is truth, truth beauty. This chiasmus is the most important line of the poem because it conveys a very vital message to the people of reality, that if we have the eyes to worship beauty, if we have the eyes to realize and appreciate that beauty exists in every object of nature, we will be able to cherish the true essence of life, even if it is a mortal existence. That is, no matter how short our life is, we need to have the insight to realize that it is a beautiful place and it will give you beautiful experience if you are a true worshipper of beauty. And if you have that quality, then of course you will realize the true essence of life, no matter how brief it is.